Hi guys, thank you for joining me. It's very cold today and I'm up the woods and I'm going to be talking about a topic that I get asked so much about. So I thought I'd come up and talk about it today. So that topic is doing solos. A lot of women and men message me on email, Instagram, that sort of thing, and ask for advice on doing solo camping. So yeah, this is going to be my response video and replying to all them people that asked about it, as it is something that it is a big thing, and I think doing solos does really impact your life and your outlook on the outdoors a little bit more, and also as a person it makes you change as a person. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, if I can stay warm enough. I think I'll be getting a fire going soon because it is so cold. Okay, so let's get on with the video. So I've been doing solo camps for about, I'd say it's about 2 years now. I got into this sort of thing 2 years ago. I'm having a bear today. Oh, right. So I find whether being on my own outside or at home, I learn a lot more about myself, and yeah, I've gained a lot of confidence and independence through doing this for the past 2 years. It's also changed me as a person. I feel I've lost a lot of my ego. It humbles you in a lot of ways, and you realise the things that used to matter don't as much anymore, regarding materialistic things, winning cycling races and competition, and status and having nice clothes and things like that, and your sort of outer shell. It doesn't matter so much to how it used to, and I've kind of woken up to that. It's more about who you are as a person and mentally what you're like, and that's what I feel. And being by myself, I know where my levels are, and I know where I should push myself and what direction. So after spending a lot of time camping by myself, I knew that I was ready to go on and do that Scotland trip, which was a big step for me, as I haven't done anything like that before. It was the longest time that I'd spent by myself, and I was in a foreign place. I've never been to Scotland camping before. I've only been to a city once, so I've never really been to Scotland. I've never got a plane on my own, and yeah, it was a crazy feeling. It was really strange at first, but it was amazing, and I loved going by myself, as I could really get into the moment. And the memories that stick with me the most are when it was hard and I was on my own and I was deep in thought. I think those were the moments that stuck with me. And it changed it completely when I met Mike and Miles on the last 5 days. It was so nice being with like-minded people again. It was amazing getting to share the experience with them and seeing their passion and how they were moved by Scotland as much as I was. So it was nice doing both. Having that time by myself for the first 10 days was magical. It was so nice, and I learned a lot about myself on that trip. but also having the 5 days at the end was amazing. This is one thing I love about going on your own. You can just do everything at your own pace, and you can set up where you want, and you're in charge of your own destiny. So if you're going camping and you're hiking, you can decide where you want to camp and where and how you set your tent up, and you can decide what time of day you get there. When you're bushcrafting, you decide how you're going to light the fire and what food you're going to cook. It's really nice, and it makes you so selfish though. That is one thing I've noticed. It makes you really selfish, because then when you go back to camping with people, it's so weird because you've got to allow for where they want to set up and what time they want to get to a place. So you have to kind of adapt to it, which is nice because you're adapting from the two. But yeah, you definitely become very selfish but independent. I used to be awful, absolutely awful at decision making. I just couldn't decide what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and how I would do everything. I just couldn't decide. So by doing solos, it makes you think you have to decide because you're the only one here who can decide for you. And I like that. It just made me grow up a bit and decide and make my own decisions without letting somebody else tell me what to do. And yeah, like I said before, it changes your perspective on life in general, because you've got so much time to think. You think a lot, and yeah, so you think about how you're living back home and how different it is, and how much schedule you have and your deadlines, and you think about what your job or anything or school, and maybe the relationships you have with people back home, and maybe you realise that some of them are quite toxic and some of them are really amazing, and you miss those people, being around those people. So you do appreciate intelligent companionship. You miss having someone there to speak to and talk about your experiences with and share your stories. But you also realise how much you depend on people's company, and that you should spend more time by yourself, because you spend a lot of your life obsessing and thinking about other people and how they feel and what they want to do, and sometimes you focus outwardly more than inwardly. And the whole mission in life is probably to find yourself and who you are as a person. So if you're constantly focusing on other people around you, you'll never know who you truly are and what you truly love and what you're passionate about. There's many reasons why you should do a solo, and I'm also going to be sharing tips, especially for women, because it is in a way different for a woman to go by herself. A lot of people do think that. Some people don't, and that's fine. But yeah, personally, I do think there is some reasons that women do tend to not go camping solo as much as men. So I'd say number one reason is you gain so much confidence and independence through going on your own. This is with anything in life, but specifically this, you gain so much confidence as you're literally coming out into a foreign place and you're doing everything completely on your own, and obviously you're not surrounded by people to help you, so it is down to you. And the more remote you go, the more confident and independent you become. So obviously by setting up your own gear and being able to do everything on your own makes you a much more confident and independent individual. So you won't have to rely on anybody because you can do it all by yourself, and that goes from setting up your tent to lighting your fire to navigating to being organised and bringing enough food and water for yourself for the duration you're going for. So yeah, that's another thing. You get a lot more organised because you're planning for yourself and what you'll need. You're not making somebody else pack your backpack or tell you what you need to take. You already know. It gets installed into you, and the more you do it, the more you'll know what you need and what you'll get used to bringing and things like that. Yeah, I think you just need a little bit of experience, especially with digging a fire pit and lighting a fire and making sure you don't set light to a woodland, or if you're going to a mountainous area and you want to climb a mountain, you should learn about navigation and staying warm and taking enough water with you. So yeah, it's great to have a bit of experience with other people before you do go off and decide to do your own thing, or just learn about it and take it with small steps at a time and gradually build up and improve. So that could be camping in your back garden, doing everything all by yourself in your back garden, and eventually you'll progress and you'll go into woodlands and mountains, and then you'll get remote and more remote. So yeah, it takes time, and everybody's different. Some people can just go out first time and get on with it, but it's whether how much they struggle. And if you struggle the first time you go out and do your solo and it's a real hardship and you don't enjoy it, then it's going to put you off going out and doing it again. You want a first experience to be really good and something that inspires you to go out again and go out for longer and mix things up and do different things while you're out camping. So that's basically saying go with a group of people or go with a mate or a family member and get used to setting up the equipment you're taking. So that could be a tarp, a hammock, or a tent. Get used to setting that up all by yourself without having to rely on somebody. But then also know what would happen if this snapped or this broke. If it got a hole in it, how would I repair it so it would be usable for the rest of the duration you're there. And then you should know how to, if you're going in the woods and you're doing this sort of thing, bushcrafting, then you should know how to light a basic fire and boil water and have enough food for the duration you're going for. But if you're going hiking and mountaineering, that's a whole different thing. You should practice navigation and reading the weather. That's a really good thing sometimes, reading cloud formations and knowing the weather that's coming towards you and being prepared and having your waterproof on the top of your bag so you can grab it quick. So having things accessible to you when you're out hiking. So having the right amount of equipment, being organised is an essential. So going by yourself, I think you learn a lot about who you are and more about your limits and what you're capable of and what you're passionate about. When you go with other people, you sort of go out and you chat constantly. That's obviously what you do when you're around people. You chat and you communicate. So it takes you out of the moment, I think, when you go with other people, because you're focused on them and what they've been up to and their story, and maybe you're catching up with the person that you're camping with, catching up on their week, or you haven't seen them in a long time. So you won't be focused on your surroundings, you'll just be focused on that person. And that's what I find with camping with people, that you're not always so present and you're not focusing on where you are as much. I think it changes the whole dynamics when you're on your own. You are in the present moment and you seem to be more focused on the environment that you're in instead of on the people you're with. Don't get me wrong, I love camping with people. I think it's amazing, and I'm so lucky that my family enjoy the same hobby as I do. That is so lucky. But I really enjoy mixing it up and doing both, camping with people but also on my own. So go with people is a real laugh and it's funny and you get to share the experience together and you've got a memory that you can share together. And I also think you connect with people better outside because it can be really hard sometimes, and when it's hard and it's difficult, people seem to bond better. So when it's cold, you're sharing that experience with somebody instead of suffering on your own. Or when the hike's hard or you can't start a fire, it's nice to share that experience and also share the workload. On your own, you've got to do so much more, where if you're with somebody, one person could be cutting firewood and the other person could be setting up the shelter. It's nice to share the workload, but being on your own is a lot more challenging as you do have to do everything. Right, top tips for going solo. I've come that prepared. I've gone to town and I've actually written the tips down so I don't miss any out. So I'm just going to go through some of the tips. If you're thinking of going out and camping by yourself, you've never done it before, you're a bit worried about it because you've not done it, so anything that you haven't done you're not going to be confident in doing, and that's what a lot of people have said to me. So I was literally just trying to find a message. This woman, she DM'd me the other day. I was just trying to get it up. It was a really lovely message asking that it was basically saying that she doesn't feel confident as a woman going out by herself. She's worried that, and how do I have any tips for her? So here we go. And a lot of other people have asked this, so I'm going to give it a shot. Hopefully the tips work. But I can give you the tips, but it's down to you to take that and have the confidence to go out and do it by yourself. So, tip number 1. Camp with other people in a similar environment to become more confident what you're doing whilst you've got people to rely on. So go out with, I've already said this, haven't I? Go out with people as a woman or a man, and if you don't feel confident, then go out with people and camp with them until you feel that you've got enough confidence to leave them and go on your own route and do that. That could take one camp out with people, it could take a year or more. It also changes it when you're on private land or you're stealth wild camping, because when you're stealth camping you've got that chance of getting kicked off or other people coming up to you, things like that, or dog walkers, different things like that. Where when you're on private land, it changes the whole perspective of it, because you know no one's going to kick you off, and you know that you can stay there, you don't have to move on, and you also know you won't be bothered by too many people. So the woodland that we are on now, we got permission to use this piece of woodland in April 2019. So we were really happy and really grateful for that, because we can come to this bit of woodland and build camps and know that we're not going to get kicked off by any landowners and that you don't get bothered by too many people. But yeah, when I used to wild camp and stealth camp, I would worry that the landowner would come and kick me off, or someone would approach me a little bit more, because it's not your place to be. Which is a shame, because it should be, but things are all owned and there's a lot of rules in the UK, and you can't camp pretty much anywhere apart from places in Wales and Dartmoor and Scotland. Scotland's pretty much the place where you are allowed to camp. You're free to roam, which is really lovely, and that's why I loved going there. Another thing as a woman, I think, is when you camp somewhere, you set up, you should plan a sort of escape route or carry something with you to make you feel more safe. So there is a tiny percent that you could come into some trouble with people and something could go wrong. So you should have that in the back of your mind that there could be a problem. When you're in places like America and Canada and places like that, they have wild animals like bears and moose and things like that. So that could also be something that's putting you off and that you're worried about. But the thing is, animals are more scared of us, and I think if you show anything respect, you are 9 times out of 10 going to get respect shown back to you. That's with anything in life, with people or with animals or the environment. So yeah, I think you should respect the animals, but it's also a good option to carry bear spray with you just in case you do come across that. And in when you're hiking, you're recommended to carry a bell on your backpack, or say hey bear when you're walking along, so you don't disturb or shock it so it becomes scared. And when you choose to camp somewhere, it shouldn't be, I don't know, it could be a woodland that's placed next to a busy area with a pub and people wander into that woods. You probably don't want to be camping in there. And some woods are renowned for people to go in, and yeah, some dodgy people do go into the woodlands, but not very often. And I think it's a real big thing to be scared of the woods and not want to go in there, because a lot of people have scaremongered and there's been stories about it, and it's installed from a young age that it's a scary and horrible place to be, when really it isn't. I've been camping for 2 years and I haven't had any problems. So if you take precautions and you know what's around you and you're aware of it and you're careful, then you shouldn't have any problems. But I think a lot of women do worry about men and predators and animals, but we should be more worried about being careful when using an axe or a knife, being careful around the fire, making sure that your shelter's set up so it doesn't blow down in the wind. So the overview to my video, in order to do a solo wild camp, is to like your own company. If you don't like your own company and you have a lot of toxic thoughts and you just put yourself down all the time and you get frustrated easily, then that could be a bit of a problem. So liking your company is a bonus when you're going out. If you love your company, you love yourself, then you're gonna have a really good time. You can do tasks at your own pace. So if you're going out on a hike and a camp, if you want to walk 5 miles and pitch your tent, you can walk 5 miles and pitch your tent. If you want to walk 10 or 15 or 2, you can do that. It's your own pace, it's your own ability. You might go with someone who's a lot quicker than you at hiking and wants to do 15, and you're just not cut out for that. So going on your own is really good, especially when you're training for something like a through hike or a long distance hike somewhere. You know what your capabilities are at. So you don't have to rush and not enjoy your time, your free time that you're choosing to do. And then you don't get people yelling in the mornings to make you coffee. Because I get that a lot when I go away with just friends or family, just telling me to make coffee in the mornings. So yeah, you can make coffee at your own time and have it how you like it, and you can cook whatever food you want as well. But everyone's got different routines. Some people like getting up late, some people like getting up early, some people like having breakfast straight away. It's just so many different choices. But when you're on your own, you can pick your own one that's suited to you. So it's really nice having that skill of independence, especially as a woman, because you don't have to rely on a guy to go with you every time. So you can just leave, go off on your own little adventure, or weekend camp out, or whatever you're doing. You can do it on your own, and you don't have to wait for someone to free up their schedule just so you can go camping. They might be working when you're free, and then you'll just never find the right opportunity. Last one is doing it for your own enjoyment, doing it because you want to be outside. It's your decision, your choice. You're not being peer pressured into it. A lot of people do get peer pressured into probably doing a solo because they think it looks really good if you go out and you're on your own, especially with YouTubers as well. There's a lot of solo videos out there, and I don't know if it's just for clickbait or because you're actually enjoying your time there. So yeah, do it because you want to do it, not because someone else said you should do this. It's a really good experience. So yeah, I think I've covered pretty much all of it. I hope that's helped somebody who's wanting to go do a solo but they wasn't sure how to go about it or what to do. When you first go, take all the right equipment. Don't make it a survival challenge. Go out with one knife. It's your first solo, first camp out, and you're going out with one knife. Make it comfortable, make it enjoyable, so you'll keep going out, and then you can keep progressing on that. Take less gear if you want to. But first time you go out, probably take a tent or a tarp. Learn how to set them up. Learn how to do a configuration. Learn your knots for it, and take some nice food. Take some hot chocolate now it's cold. And also I think it's really nice to maybe take a tool with you. So maybe a knife, you can practice use with your knife, but make sure that you know maybe the triangle of death. Know that you should keep the knife away from you. Just practice before you just decide to go and take a knife out on your own. Be careful with it. Another good thing is to learn some basic first aid if you are on your own, especially if you're going a long way from home or people. It's good to learn some first aid. So that could be a tourniquet, it could be stopping bleeding, dealing with burns. So it's also the mental side of it, staying calm, being relaxed, and then trying to figure out what to do from there. Because there can be some really dangerous accidents from not using a tool correctly, like an axe or a saw. It can do a lot of damage. But most of all, have fun, enjoy yourself. I hope you have an amazing time. I hope it goes really well for you. So yeah, that is my main tips and why you should do a solo camp out. I hope you found this useful. Please comment or message me if this does help and that you're planning your trip out now, doing your solo. I know there was a lot of people asking. So yeah, just remember it's all about confidence. It's a very, very slim chance that anything bad's going to happen if you take precautions. Remember to take the right equipment as well, like clothing wise, food, water, and a nice stable tent or tarp that's not going to let water through. So just be organised. There's loads of videos and blogs on what gear you should take, what gear you should buy. So there's loads out there that you can look at if you're just getting into it. Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered everything. I hope so anyway. One more thing, I just want to give a few shout outs to some channels that I think really deserve some more subscribers. So I'm just going to list the ones I can remember because there were so many and I'm awful with remembering names. So I'll give it my best shot and the rest of the names I'll have to list in a I'll list below. So first one is, I'm going to go with Joe. So Joe is one of my patrons. He is from the Joe Profit channel, but I think he's changed his name now, so I'll add his new name. But he used to be the Joe Profit channel, and now I think it's something bushcraft. I just want to give a shout out to Joe because he's got an amazing channel. It's really good. He's a really down to earth guy, and he's supported me so much on my journey, so I'd like people to go over and support him on his. I think he's doing an amazing thing next year, and he's decided to walk the Appalachian Trail, which is a really long distance trail. I think it's 1,000 miles and something, or it might be 2,000. It's a really long distance. It takes like 5-6 months to walk it. So he is attempting that next year, and he's going to be videoing it, showing you the gear he takes and his journey that he goes on. So if you want to watch that, which is pretty amazing, then go over and give him a subscribe. So good luck, Joe. I hope you have a great time. It'll be a really nice experience doing that. Very challenging though. Next channel I want to give a shout out is to DG Outdoors, which is a really nice guy. He does bushcraft and outdoorsy things, and he also goes with his family, which is really lovely to see. Yeah, so go over to his channel. He's got some great content, and he also uploads weekly videos, which is great to see. Yeah, so I think you deserve a lot more subscribers, so go over and subscribe to him. The next person is great. I watched one of his videos and it really made me laugh. He's a really different character, really down to earth and really funny. So go over to his channel and give him a subscribe. So yeah, I think he hasn't hit 1,000 yet, so you go over, get him to 1,000 for the new year. That would be great. Want to give another channel that is great and deserves more subscribers is Ben and Junior from 401 Files, which is a channel all about thought-provoking topics. So they're from the UK, which is great, and they go into, I think, into Kilda Forest, where me, Mike and Miles went on the way back from Scotland. He went in there, did a bit of Sasquatch hunting, and his videos are great. They're really, you're just hanging on the edge of your seat watching them videos. And the chemistry between him and Junior is just great. They've just got so much banter. So yeah, go over to 401 Files and give their videos a watch. Hopefully we're gonna meet up soon. That would be great because we're both from the UK, so it'd be nice to head back to Kilda Forest and do a camp out. That would be a really good plan. The next channel I want to give a shout out to is Hippie from Hippie Swift. His real name's Jay, but I like calling him Hippie. I met him at the Bushcraft show last year, and he was a right laugh, really nice, really passionate about the outdoors. He has his bike, and what he does is he goes touring on his bike. It's amazing. He's got all his panniers, got a really nice setup, and he just tours around on that. So he's got some great videos. If you're into bike camping or bike touring, then that is the channel to go to. So yeah, Hippie Swift. The next channel is Robert's Bushcraft. They do some great videos, and it's Gabriel and his dad. They're like a duo, and they do videos together, which is really sweet. And he also does videos on his own. He does bushcraft and prepping and into the outdoors, and it's so nice to see someone at a young age doing that. And he's from America. He's got an amazing accent. You've just got to subscribe for that accent. But yeah, they've got some lovely videos. So that is Robert's Bushcraft. Next channel is Best Till Last. Favourite channel going. Absolutely love him to bits. And that is the one and only Bushwhacker Man. So this guy is really great. He does some amazing videos. He's really inspiring and skillful with what he does. He's recently done a 6 weeks solo camp out in a teepee, which is a great watch. So go watch the series on that. There's loads of episodes on there. And yeah, amazing channel. And that is my dad. Really proud of you. Go give him a sub. I also want to thank you all for subscribing to me. Last year I hit 40k, which is crazy. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. Amazing achievement. I was aiming on getting 27,000 last year, so that really shocked me. So thank you for everyone to subscribing to me. I really appreciate that.